Good evening, everyone. My name is Daryl Corner. The date is 8/10/2018. I'd like to just share some things with you that I became aware of. And of course, it really burdens my heart to think that people making the statement, make this country great again, that there's a warrant for that. There is premise for that. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no premise for making this country great again. Because my question is, when has this country ever been great? Seeing as this country has done nothing but hurt people and all of the atrocities that white people have committed upon other races throughout the years and centuries, decades, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There was nothing great about this country. In fact, when they first came to this country, they saw that it was profitable and it was a goodly land to have. And so, of course, they called themselves colonials. And colonials, they go into a land and inhabit that land. The land is barren, doesn't have people, so there's no work has been done to that land, etc. But when they came to this country was inhabited. This continent was inhabited by people we called Indians, who were the native people of this land, the indigenous people of this land. So white people wasn't here. Indians were here, and we are finding out now that in this land there were also black people, so on and so forth. So when they came here and took this land, they actually became your first terrorists, your first terrorists, your first murderers of this land, your first robbers. So the people that came here to occupy this land, they took it from the indigenous people and committed genocide against them, destroyed them, destroyed their main source of meat, which was the buffalo. And so on and on and on. We don't have to get so much into it, but that's basic story there. Everybody should know that. That should be taught in the schools, but it's not taught like that in the schools. In any case, after decades and centuries of the atrocities upon the Indian people, the indigenous people, well, they went and got people from Africa, kidnapped the people from Africa. They're your first kidnappers. You talk about kidnapping somebody, murdering them, treat them like dogs. The white people did that. Caucasian white people. I would like to just be specific. I'm not trying to be politically right, because that don't help nobody. White people need to know bluntly that they're barbarians. And these are the type of characterizations that I characterize white people, barbarians. They committed genocide against the Indians. They kidnapped the Africans from Africa, brought them here, then put them into slavery, and then demoted them from being humans to animals. That's psychological. That's another whole subject matter. But to deceive yourself and your people into thinking that black people are animals instead of humans, when the white people that brought us here was acting like the animals, see? And then they called us niggers. After freeing us from slavery, 200 years, 400 years of slavery, another 200 years of extreme racism, prejudice, bias, apartheid, KKism, white nationalism, imperialism, superior white superiority and all of these things came from the white people, and because they were establishing a precedent against black people in this country. But we are forced to be reckoned with, and we will not be denied what's ours, because this is ours also. Oh yeah, and they tell us to go back to our land and where we come from. Where I was born here. My ancestors came from Africa. And guess what? I'm not going anywhere. And neither should no one else. And so, yes, they tell us to go back from which we came. Where are they going to go back to? They came from the Caucasus Mountains. They are barbarians and they're cavemen. They came here seeking freedom of religion. And it turns out they were not true religious people. They were hypocrites of their own faith. They didn't even understand the book, the Bible that they read. And of course, as time progressed, they used it to try to make us submissive. And they didn't even realize in the process of teaching us the Bible, we got a hold of Christ. And Christ gave us salvation, which gave us a strength to stand, all the while they were treating us like animals, humans, inhumane, insane people, treating us like animals and dogs, worse than animals. These days, they kissing animals in the mouth, but they treated us humans, made in God's image, like animals. And so, yes, they were your first human traffickers. They talk about human traffickers today. Those white people that came here and took that land, calling themselves colonizers. Colonizing is not when you go into a land and inhabit it, taking it from the people that live there. Colonizing is finding a land that's uninhabited, inhabiting there and building there, making it their own. But they took what they got. And so to this point, what you mean, make this country great again? It has never been great. All it has done was commit atrocities against the people indigenous here, and then the people they brought here, which was us, black people, okay, and then treated us like dogs. And you know, there's so much more to this, and I'm gonna make more videos, but black people, you got to wake up and stop acting like house ass, Uncle Tom house ass niggas. You really have to stop it. You think the white man loves you? Now, there are a lot of white people that are good people. In this day and age, white people are waking up. They're seeing the error of their ways, and they're turning and repenting from their racism, their hatred, their jealousy, their envy. So you got to wake up, my people. You got to wake up, and we must sound the alarm. Wake the hell up and stop sleepwalking, thinking that Trump love you, is pro-black. How stupid can an individual be to say such a thing? This man is a known racist. This country has never done nothing good to be a great country. It has experimented on its own people, citizens. Just look at it, people. What I'm saying, it's in the books. White folks hung us from trees. They called us monkeys, but while they were climbing the trees, they were hanging us. They were the monkeys, if anything. And of course, we don't take that premise because they're God's children, creation. But they were acting like monkeys, climbing trees and hanging us. They burned us in the streets. Innocent people, they burned us in the streets and took pictures of it, stood back, smiled like they did something that would warrant a praise. We got to wake up. If you forget your past, black people, then you will allow these white racist people to keep coming forth time and time again with their masks on and acting like they're for us when they're not. When Trump got in office, all of these white people came out of the closet like cockroaches. Okay? And they're disrespecting black people everywhere. Yes, indeed. The police, the KKK is in the police, on the police force. They're in the army. They're in the armed forces, all of them. They're everywhere. But so are we. And we must come together to do Black Wall Street. My next video is going to be concerning that. So stay tuned. Thank you.